But I would have to say the money was good for me. It was good for my career. And most importantly, it was good for my learning experience.
Were you at the BBC when you set up Ghana SoccerNet?
Yes.
How did that come? How did the Ghana SoccerNet journey begin?
Well,
I'll come back to the FA.
Yes.
We need to talk about the FA.
I was a duty editor on the website. So the duty editor means, when, it's a day, you become the one that commissions the story from all the correspondents across the continent. You edit the stories, you publish the stories and the rest. So I did that shift a lot of times. And I realized that there were many, many Ghanaian stories that were not making the online space. And at that same time, a lot of young Ghanaian journalists, sports journalists, were coming up to me, we need a job, we need to do this, we need to do that. And I thought that, look, I needed to plug the gap by creating an opportunity for young Ghanaian journalists to aspire. So I could teach them what I've learned. So I started it. I started it on the eve of the 2008 African Cup of Nations being hosted in Ghana. It was commissioned, or it was launched by Emmanuel Adebayo in his house in London. And I remember clearly on the 24th of December 2007. So that was where it started, and it grew. Now it's a global brand.
It's a global brand.
I remember.
We heard that you've sold it.
No, I've not sold. I've sold part of it. We've sold.
You sold shares
of it.
Yes.
It's cool. Oh. We've sold parts of it.
But you're about to share us a story. You said, I remember...
the owner of Right to Dream Academy.
Tom Vernon.
Tom Vernon. He called me one day and said, Ibrahim, I've been thinking about it. Do you know the number of journalists you have trained? A lot. Everywhere I go, somebody will say, oh, he trained me. I met someone in London. He was a journalist. He's a journalist. He met Rahman Osman in London at one of the events. He said, you are the right to dream of sports journalism in Ghana. And I reflected on it and I said, oh, that might be true, because if you look at the impact, with humility, we've made on sports journalism generally, in the culture itself, from what news is covered, how news is covered, into developing the human resource itself and creating an industry around it. You would say that you've done a lot. I'm very, very proud to say today that there are a lot of thriving websites, news websites, that have followed after our footsteps. There are lots of others who've gotten employed.
You've created many websites?
Yes, many. Ghana, Nigeria, everywhere. And I'm sure that...
You have websites in Nigeria as well?
Nigeria, Kenya.
Nigeria SoccerNet, is your own?
Yes.
I see.
There's also Nigeria football, but Muftau, there's a lot more to come. I promise you.
There's Football Ghana, there's
Ghana.
There's Ghana Guardian.
Yes, there are many. There are many. But the thing is that you find the need that there are lots of Ghanaian journalists who would not have the opportunity to work with the guys like you, Joy FM. Maybe they are not ready, maybe they are ready. But some of them can pass through our hands. They can come to Joy FM subsequently. Not only that, but some of them have become top people in the country. Your former editor, for instance, Ridwan Asante. Yes. He was with us when we started from day one. In fact, he's part of the co-owners of Ghana SoccerNet. Patrick Akoto, who was then the communications director of Mediema, is now with the Ghana Football Association. He's also with us. Aminu Shado was one of our journalists, Sheikh Tawfiq, and many, many, many others. Some of them have gone to TV3, FSIN, and co, and a lot of them. Even Sadiq Adams.
Yes. I remember.
All of them.
I remember at the point they even say you have hired me for. I am the only person you haven't hired. You haven't hired me.
I'll hire you soon. Joy FM, be warned.
That means that the money you are bringing, Kwesichu will have to.
Kwesichu will be ready. because our muscles are getting stronger.
So I have to come back to the Ghana Football Association. How would you describe the journey with the Ghana Football Association?
I'll say number one, a great opportunity to work at that level. It gave me a new challenge for me to aspire to it, with lots of challenges because number one, at that time we came in, the internet had blown up already. There were more than 100 radio stations, and all radio stations have at least 2 sports shows a day. And for Ghana, sports means, and by the research I conducted, 99.7 of the content on Ghanaian media outfits, be it online, radio or television, is football.
99.7?
Yes.
Joy FM?
Yes. Sports, so obviously the biases is there, but also I also found out that at that same time there was a growing number of merchant journalism. What I mean by merchant journalism is that, because Ghana had become so successful in football, there was a fight for who would lead the federation, whether directly or indirectly, and that created an opportunity for some journalists to make it a career path of attacking, so they could make a name and all of that.
Are you suggesting that journalists chose a career path by attacking officials of the Ghana Football Association because they wanted to make a name?
I'm not saying all.
Some.
80% of the Ghanaian journalists then were very, very decent people who were committed to their work. But let me just be blunt and say the truth. One of your colleagues, Countryman Songo, had entirely built his career on attacking Kwesi Nyantakyi or the Ghana Football Association. That's the truth.
But this is not really fair, because before Kwesi Nyantakyi became the president of the Ghana Football Association, Countryman Songo was a journalist.
He was a journalist.
Countryman Songo was running commentary for Joy FM, for Love FM in Kumasi. And even until Asampa FM came into the space, Countryman Songo was one of the top-notch commentators in this country before Kwesi Nyantakyi became president. I
disagree with you, Muftar, respectfully.
Maybe.
And I'll say, I'll tell you one thing.
This is not a Countryman Songo conversation.
No, it's not a Countryman Songo conversation, but let me put it on record that it was quite telling that your company had to go to court a lot of times because of him. How many times had Kwesi Chum gone to the chief imam at 4 a.m. to go and beg Kwesi Nyantakyi to take away his cases out of court? That was how gory it was. So he made it a point to do a program that specifically attacked Kwesi Nyantakyi, whether rightly or wrongly. And I think that was a bad precedent for sports journalism in the country. It is right that officialdom are questioned, but it should not become a stock in trade.
Okay.
There must be balance. There's no way. You can be biased in journalism as long as you say, I am biased. You can't be.
Songo says he's biased. So why is it a problem?
He didn't say that. He claimed
he mustn't necessarily come out and tell the whole world that I am biased.
No. But journalism says you can be biased, but you must state it. So you come clean. But you will not say that.
He probably might have stated
who are there? When somebody disagree, you didn't lie,
He probably might have stated it, but you never heard him. He probably might have stated that he's biased, but you never heard him.
I heard him.
You did not hear him say he's biased. Does not mean that he never said that he's biased.
No. I listen to him regularly. I do media monitoring.
Hang on, Sannie. If you listen to the person religiously, as you say,
yes,
why would you continue to listen to someone religiously if the person is doing something biased against you?
Because I was then the director of communications of the Ghana Football
So you had interest in the content he was churning out,
yes,
so that you could use that to better the institution.
No, not with him. With him, we always knew what we would get. But with people like you, with people, lots of people, very, very decent people at Joy FM, at Asempa, for example.
I also wrote stories too.
Yes, exactly. But when you write the story, I don't take it personally, because I know that you won't be one-sided in your thought.
Yeah.
You would call to ask, what is your thought about this thing?
Yeah.
You won't be one-sided. And I appreciate that. I appreciate a lot of people. For instance, PJ Mose, he was tough, but he would call you for your side of the story. I appreciate somebody like Wallace, for example. He'll be tough, he'll be good on you when you do good, and he'll be tough on you when you go wayward. I appreciate that. But the fact that you make it a stock in trade, that even when you do well, he will say it's bad. An innocent, an innocent being like Kwesi Appiah, you call him respectful guy, somebody who's respected up and down this country, and you call him Nenche and all of that. It hurts. And for me, not only does it not hurt, but it also goes to the heart of what I say about journalism. Because at the end of the day, when I meet executives of the FA, for instance, what do they say? They are your people. And in truth, they are my people. Because it's my trade, it's my job. And at that time, it was also bringing me income. Because I made monies from my sports journalism. So if I saw something that was going to be negative towards my trade, I have all the right to call it out.
There was a point people actually said that Ghana SoccerNet had become so powerful and was influencing players who played for the national team. And I recall an article Ghana SoccerNet wrote and described some journalists as careerists who were also part of some group of journalists who were criticizing Ghana SoccerNet of being so powerful and influencing player calls into the national team. Was there a point Ghana SoccerNet was used as a tool to influence player calls to the national team?
Ghana SoccerNet was formed in 2007. It was the leading sports news outfit when it was formed on day one, and it continues to be so up to the day today. Why? It's because of the date of hard work of all the journalists there. You cannot besmirch the quality of the journalists we churned out there and the work they did. People said they were influencing collapse. They were influencing collapse even before. Why? Because they were going down where people would not go to bring the news of what the performance of players were. And still, they were bringing players you never knew about. A player like Waris was made popular because of Ghana SoccerNet. No one knew him. And a lot more. And I remember even at a point, when a player is on top, you are bound to report on him. For example, when Asamoah Gyan was top, there was a point where I heard some people saying it was Asamoah Gyan that was funding the website. I laughed. And so many players, and it continues to be so because...
If Asamoah Gyan was not funding the website, at a point I know very well, Aminu Shadow was the one editing. Do you remember he created an app? Asamoah Gyan's news portal.
Yes.
Aminu Shadow was the one who was writing on that portal. And Aminu Shadow was writing for you. So if people had that kind of thinking, probably they were not too far from right.
Do you know why? They were so good that the journalists at Ghana SoccerNet were so good and are so good that everybody wanted to have a piece of them. I've lost count of the number of times friends will call me, Moses Parker, you call me that, please, I need one of your guys to be my director of communications. That's how come Patrick Akoto became this thing. I had a call from Kurt. Chaleminto Mau Aminu. I want to take Aminu. I said, Aminu is there for the taking, take him. That is how come he went to Dreams. The same thing applied to Sheikh Tawfiq. All of these people had excelled and people had seen the work, and that is why they were taking them on. Why? Because they had seen them. Do you know that Ridwan was also helping Wafa?
Yeah, I'm aware.
You are aware?
Yes.
Do you know why? It's because of the quality of the work.
I
It's
remember
not
even
because...
Right to Dream as well.
Yes. In fact, I'm a consultant for Right to Dream.
Yeah.
You see, the fact is that people will see the quality if you put in the work. So it's, just, petty jealousy.
No.
When people saw the website, I remember...
So why did you also write a story and describe journalists as careerists who were also part of a group of people propagating that they were what? Scan Soccer was influencing player call-ups to the national team. Why would you describe it as such? Were you mounting a defense for yourself?
Because it was very, very stupid for them to say...
A careerist cannot have an opinion?
I don't care. But it was very, very stupid of them. Why would I say it was very stupid of them and even smacked of jealousy? Because at that time, Ghana Soccer Net was so popular, people wanted to find something negative to do with it. Why? Because they were jealous of it.
No.
Why? And I'll state it. Because they knew that we were churning all the news. We were bringing all the exclusive news, all the transfer news, even before clubs announced it. But if today I wasn't this busy, I promise you no one will see the tail of Ghana Soccer Net. And I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Why? Because I know what I do. When people are sleeping, I'm working. When people are sleeping, Ghana Soccer Net staff are not sleeping. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., people are working. They are digging. They are making phone calls. They are asking questions. A lot of journalists will prefer that after 5, 6 p.m., it's done.
As a journalist, have you written biased articles on Ghana Soccer Net before?
To be honest with you, can I tell you something?
Yes.
I had little time to write on Ghana Soccer Net.
But have you written biased on the website? Biased kind of stories on the website before?
No. I didn't have the time.
No. Sannie, it will not be fair.
Why?
Because I've personally read some of those articles. One, where the position of the writer, it can be clearly stated.
So did you see my name on it?
No, because Ghana Soccer Net, you haven't put bylines on it, so how are we going to see the
so why would you accuse me of that?
No.
I have a staff numbers of more than 50 people. Do you think I'll have the time to be writing articles on a daily basis?
But there are some stories when I see written on Ghana Soccer Net. I can see your fingerprints. I can see the fingerprints of Patrick Akoto or Ridwan.
No.
When I see those stories,
you can. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. All of us are trained in the BBC line of writing, in the BBC line of developing a story. You would never find a Ghana Soccer Net story where the story is buried underneath. This is the norm. So even when you see somebody writing, you think it's me.
Oh no, like you know.
It was not me.
Like you know.
But I'll ask you a question. Does Kwesi Chum have the time to write on My Joy Online?
Oh, he's the CEO. He's somewhere.
So why would you?
No.
Why would you accuse me of that?
This analogy will not suffice.
He's far richer than me.
No,
but
your analogy will not suffice, because the kind of work we do at the multimedia group, Kwesi Chum might not even know the time Mufta is on air. Kwesi Chum will not even know the time Evans is on air or George is on air or Fento is on air.
So why won't you give me that opportunity too? So you think I have the time to be writing articles? What time do I have to write articles for all the websites I have in Nigeria, all the websites I have in Ghana, all the
Cameroon? You have one too in Cameroon?
No, I don't have in Cameroon yet.
Oh, okay.
It might come. But what time would I have to do that? Do you think I would have that time? What time would I have to develop the business? What time would I have to engage with possible financiers who are likely, who might want to invest in the business? It takes
So
time.
you no longer write, but you used to write.
I used to write for the BBC and the Ghana Football Association.
The Ghana Football Association. But not anymore.
I don't have the time.
But let's come back to the Ghana Football Association, Alaji.
Yes.
Within the period you were at the Ghana Football Association, which moment would you describe as your highest, and which one would be your lowest? Your lowest.
The highest, a lot really. I can't pin one down. In fact, from setting up the department itself, because there was no department in itself when I took over. Because Randy was doing the job pro bono, he was not a staff of the federation, he was on the board. So I needed to set up the department itself. And a lot of the things we made set the path for what, you know, sports communication should be. Number one, for example, we completely redesigned the website to make it to the modern one it is today. Together with Tamimu Isa and I, we took the decision more than 10 years ago to bin the newspaper because we thought the internet will kill it. We took that decision even before major publishers in the world got the inkling that the internet was going to have an effect. We put in a lot of structures, including us being, those days, you get a blue tick for being recognized for the work you do, not the blue tick of today that is bought. We're the first African Football Federation to get a blue tick. And most of our
on Twitter?
Yes.
Yeah.
And most of our footballers then got it, all with no budget, zero budget.
So when you were running the FA communication department,
we didn't have a respective budget for the department, no way. Everything was controlled by the general secretary, who decided what we should do and not. But, you know, number one, my name is on it, so I had to find ways to do, even if it took even using my own resources to do it.
But you were very close to the president. How come you couldn't secure?
No. Very close to the president doesn't mean that I should circumvent structures or use my closeness to the president to force things the general secretary then, you know, was not.
Was it Jima or Isaac? Or both of them, or from Insia? I'm not sure. Did you meet Insia?
No, I did not meet Insia. Yeah. I met Mr. Jima. I would say Isaac, because he had a longer time than Mr. Jima.
Okay.
Mr. Jima was more amenable to, you know, listening to things we can do more. Isaac was more focused on seeking to give more to clubs rather than other areas.
Okay.
He was thinking much more politically than, you know, conventionally. Why? Because football comes with a lot of politics. But I thought we could have done, you know, a good balance.
Both ways.
Yes.
Okay. And the 2014 World Cup. Earlier you spoke about how in 2002 you broke the news of Samuel Kufuor's sacking.
Yes.
I also remember in 2014 I saw you on television talking to us about the decision of the Ghana Football Association to sack Sule Muntari and Calvin Prince Boateng.
Yes.
I saw you on TV. Fortunately, I was glued to the television around that time. What happened? We had some players punched each of Calvin did what happened? And in fact, you were insulted. Hey, Alaji, sorry. I don't want to repeat the words on TV, but you were insulted.
Yes.
What happened?
I was sitting right there.
Did you witness it?
I was sitting there.
So what happened?
You know, there was a culmination of things, and one, we have to then sympathize with for me personally, I would have to sympathize with the frustrations of the players, because the players had become used to a norm where, you know, you do your work, government says you pay, and it is paid on time. Even to the point that even sometimes players are paid in the dressing rooms immediately after. Because years gone by, before President Nyan Techi had taken over, there was complete mistrust of, you know, leadership. Because promises were made, they are not kept. A lot of players would even pay with their own money to get plane tickets to come and play for Ghana. They will not be reimbursed and the rest. So a lot had gone in to build the trust. And I would say it was the reason why we qualified for the World Cup. I would say that because now players felt that when you work for it,
You get it.
You get it, like you were promised. But I would sympathize with the players' concerns that, number one, there was, a lot of delays and broken promises about when the players will be paid, how they will be paid. First of all, I remember I was not too focused on those areas because my job was just the media.
The media.
But, I kept hearing complaints from the players. They were murmuring that, we're going to Holland. We said we'll be giving our appearance fees in Holland. Okay, it did not happen, so let's go to America where, we played Holland before we left. And then when we left, we were going to America. It was promised that it would be given there. It did not come. It was promised that when we get to Brazil, it will be paid before the opening game. It did not happen and all of that. So there were broken promises. There were lots of broken promises. And these broken promises culminated into the unfortunate incidents that happened. And let me say that there were a lot of people that blamed the sports minister then. And I would say, from what I know and from what I saw with my own eyes, the sports minister then, Elvis Ifeanyi, was not to be blamed. It was beyond him. Because if it was the minister's duty to force to have the money released, if the money was not released to him, what could he have done? Maybe...
Did they throw the punches?
Yes. Yes. I was sitting there. What was
the conversation that led to the throwing of the punches?
It was just sudden. There was no conversation. What happened was, the players were protesting vehemently. Sometimes would threaten not to go for training before matches. Close after we had lost the first game, our second game was a draw, right?
Yeah,
against Germany. And then that was before the game against Portugal. So I thought what happened was the players were thinking that we're going to play Portugal. If we lose the match,
we won't get the money again.
We won't get the money again because there had been broken promises all along the line. I sympathize with that. That if you promise somebody something, you must make good the promise. And all of those broken promises, was not helpful. So you would understand a frustration and a reaction. But I will not, under any circumstance, subscribe to violence or insults. And let me put it on record that, in truth, Sule Muntari hate Mospaka unprovokedly. I was sitting right there. I was sitting, there was Mospaka, there was Dada Ansong, and I was next. So I saw the punches fly.
Was it a round table discussion?
No, the players were seated like, there was a high table, and the players were seated there. They were called into a meeting to discuss the issue of the money. Why the money has delayed and all of that. So, there were agitations. They would not go for trading and all of that. So
did Sule move from where he was sitting to the high table to go and punch him or what?
Yes. It was not a high table per se. It was just some
So why was Parker and not any other person if it was unprovoked?
I don't know. Maybe he had some pent-up feeling towards Moses. But he woke up specifically to go and hate Moses, and he hated him.
Did Kwesi Appiah also cry?
Yes, he did.
He cried?
He cried. And I also felt very, very sad because I witnessed it at first hand. Kwesi Appiah is one of those very, very decent people. Very, very, very decent. Decent human being, very honest, very calm, conciliatory figure, and everything. And I witnessed, let me just spill the beans and tell the truth what it is. I witnessed, a training session where I think Kevin was frustrated that he was not started. Christian Achu was started ahead of him. And, you know, I don't want to repeat the words used at the training grounds, but he used unpalatable words during the training. And he was doing it persistently in the presence of everybody, including the players.
Everybody, so the players.
So he was saying it persistently. So Kwesi kept on ignoring him. And you know, sadly, it was Kwesi that asked that Kevin be included in the team. Because
part of the game, second leg against Egypt.
You know, he was not part of the team.
Yes. He had apologized and said he was available to play for the country again.
Yes, and all of that. A lot of people were opposed to it because a lot of people thought that, you know, when players become mega stars in the team, sometimes they become disruptive to the team. And if you look in the trajectory, in the history of football, it happens. Do you know why Alex Ferguson doesn't allow many senior players in the team? He let go of David Beckham when he was at his prime. Same with Roy Keane and Van Nistelrooy and co. When players become senior players, they become politicians. That's the truth.
Like, you need to remember the conversation because it's basically dragging. Okay.
Yes, that's the truth. So, you know, when it happened, I felt sad because it was one singular person who fought that the player should be in the team. So I looked at him and I looked at the insults and the way he was being denigrated in front of young players, and I thought it was not fair. And after he had those exchanges on the field, when we went for lunch that day, when management called him to speak with him, he broke down in tears and he was crying for a long time. And I even shed a tear because I felt that, yes, because I felt that he didn't deserve that. You don't pay somebody who had gone out of his way to make sacrifices for you, to belittle him and disgrace him.
So he took his appearance fee too?
I don't remember. I don't know.
I
don't know. I don't remember.
But the FA were always accused of not giving all the money to the players. Did that happen?
Who said that?
But the media reports are playing. They will tell you, they will put you on paper, $100,000. We'll come and give you $50,000, $20,000.
You think these players who were beating management members
will agree?
Will agree?
Alaji, let's wrap up the conversation.
So?
It will be unfair to have this conversation with you without touching on number 12.
Yes.
Where you were accused of sending your agent, agent, or is it assigned to go and take a bribe to influence a player, call up Thomas Abbey, call up to the national team, and all that. If you met the people and you did not want to take the money, why did you ask your assigned to go and take the money?
In fact, that was a false story created by Anas. And I'm very happy that now people are getting to realize who Anas is truly is. Number one, let me put it on record that number one, I went there alone, met the guy. He sent two guys. He sent one guy called Aqua and another guy to come there, and I did it at an open place in the stadium.
Just around Tego's kitchen?
Yes. There is, you know, let me just say these things. When you go to the stadium, it's the reason why these days, even when I'm in Accra, I don't go to the stadium. Why? Because when you go to the stadium, you find a lot of guys, hangers on, including people in the industry, who beg you for money. And this guy...
I like you anything for the boys.
Yes. And this guy was one of those guys who begged me for money when I go to the stadium.
Which of them?
Him, the Aqua guy, the guy Anas used.
Okay.
I was there one day, and normally I don't pick, even calls of people I know, I hardly pick because I'm extremely busy. Then this guy phones me. He phones maybe 30, 40 times. I don't have his number. It's not saved on my number. I don't pick. But then I realized on Truecaller that it saved Aqua Hearts. Then there was one player called Aqua at Heart of Oak.
Yeah.
But that time, that guy, I didn't even know his name. The guy who was sent by Anas, I didn't even know his name. So he phoned me one day. Then he told me that, oh, he wants to meet me that there's this player at Heart of Oak called Wisdom Abbey. He wants
Thomas Abbey?
Thomas Abbey.
Yeah.
Thomas Abbey. He wants his manager wants him to be called up to the local Black Stars, not the Black Stars. That he wants me to see the man. The man says I should go and see the coaches. Then the question I asked, is that what you do at Heart of Oak? Then he said no. Then what he told me was that, Alaji, because you know this man helps me. But I don't want to look as if when he sent me, I didn't go. That is why I said this thing. Then I said, okay, we'll be training at the Accra Sports Stadium in the afternoon. Come there. Then the guy comes with another guy. And first of all, I asked him, where are you from? He said, I'm from who? I said, what do you want? He narrated the thing to me. First, I told him that, number one, if somebody tells you that people pay to get places in the national teams, they are lying to you.
That one was captured on the announcement.
They will take your money and chop.
Yes.
Be careful. Tell the boy to exert himself. And at that time, that Thomas Abbey was playing well.
Yeah, he had a very good season.
Yes.
One of the key players in the
I told him,
local Black Stars.
tell him to exert himself. If the coaches feel that he deserves a place, they will call him. Just as I was about to leave, when I finished saying that was the conversation. It didn't even last more than 3 minutes. Just as I was about to leave, the guy says, oh, thank you. This is some envelope for you. You know, intuitively, I told him that I don't need this money. You could see me waving my hand.
Sure.
The guy you sent is the one that needs money. That was how I left it. And I left, that was my first and last.
Because in the video, in fact, you were wearing a white shirt and you told them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you know what Anas does? He blanks all of those things out. The guy included. Then do you know, he doesn't use my voice. Do you know what they did? He used subtitles. You think if Anas had somebody I had sent, he wouldn't show the person's face? Number one. Number two, if I had sent somebody, he wouldn't film the person. Number three, who is that person? He never told that. That is why you can see that Anas is a liar. That is why he's been exposed. That is why the things that are happening to him the day to day. You know, since then, people began to scrutinize his work. And unfortunately, I would say that as a result of that, a lot of people have begun to realize that a lot of the work he had done in the past could have been some of these works. So he'll get a video of you, try to get a similitude, put voiceovers and subtitling. And then he'll just send it to the public. Because, you know, he had done some good work in the eyes of the public in the past. Whatever he says will be picked up hook, line, and sinker. But if you watch the video carefully, you would see everything I told. But a lot of people, you know, at that time were worked up and all of those things. But it was good. I took my time and I went through all the processes. And for me, it was very, very important that my reputation will be cleared. I have a pristine, pure reputation. And he sought to destroy it. I have many, many reasons to believe that there were ulterior motives to what he did. And I have those reasons. At the good time, I will say...
What are those reasons?
No, I'll say it at the good time. But it's good that now he has been exposed for for the fraud he is. It's
quite unfair to describe Anas as a fraud.
He did that to me. He did that to me.
He never said you were a fraud.
What did he say? He said... connection man, GFA, the spokesman or connection man?
No, in the work that was done by Anas, the claim were that you sent someone to go and take the money on your behalf. So that would not be fair to say that because he said he's accusing you of sending someone to go and take money on your behalf, he's a fraud. That would not be fair.
No, I mean, it's fair. You know why? Because I did not do that. In the video, did you see me sending somebody? Did you see me with anyone? I went there alone in the open at the Accra Sports Stadium with everyone watching. Am I stupid? That is how fraudulent he can become.
I can understand the pain.
No.
Of being put on that.
You
on
can
that
attack
target.
a human being in any way you want, but if you want to attack a reputation, look. Not only that. Number one, I have lived my life above everything, and you want to besmirch me because he had ulterior motives for what he did.
Did that in any way affect your career progression?
No. In fact, it even enhanced it. You know why? Number one, I could not do a lot of the things that I was used to doing when I was at the GFA. Number one, it was not...
in fact, I didn't mention that you were cleared by the GFA Ethics Committee.
In fact, let me just put it on the record. He was asked to present the original video by the GFA Ethics Committee. And everything that I said, they discovered it. They discovered it.
So he presented the original video to the Ethics Committee of the
presented, in fact, even with that one, it was doctored. He removed certain parts. But the guy was there, Aqua, but he blanked his face. You see? So he can continue to deceive the people.
No, blacken Aqua's face. You know, in the kind of work that is being done, you need to protect the identity of the people because you want to keep them from the public space to avoid them being harmed.
No, but for an investigative body, you say that let me present it as it is.
So you're actually trusting that investigative body in private. What if they go out there and give out the identity of the person to
No, I don't think.
Sannie, we are having a conversation here in private. You can never tell who the next person
but
would be.
If you,
I would go and share that conversation with.
If he wanted the truth, he should be truthful. He wasn't truthful. And that is why I'm saying that a lot of the people who've been affected previously by their work should go and re-examine their works. You know, and subsequent to that, court decisions and all of those things culminate in what we know announced to be
the court decision. You took the matter to court. You even hired the former Deputy Attorney General.
Yes.
In the end, you were accused of running away from your own case.
No. Do you know what the judge said?
What did the judge say?
I went on to court on 2 counts. One, infringing on my human rights, and 2, seeking to sue him. Now, number 1, the judge said that he could not identify the people in the tape. And his ruling was that he did not infringe on my human rights. That was what he said. It was not a ruling on the substantive matter.
Yes.
But you know what happened? The fact that the judge himself did not, even want to delve deep into the identity of the person, leave much to be desired. So
you disagree with the decision of the judge?
No, of course I disagree with the decision.
Then you could have appealed.
I could have appealed. But do you know what, Muftau? I saw one thing or 2 things. One, I discovered that the legal systems in Ghana are very, very, very expensive for...
And you don't have that kind of money.
Do you know, I parted with nearly $30,000 fighting that case alone. Fighting that arm of that case.
Dominic Ayine took you after that amount? Or
no,
not
him.
Ayine?
Not,
or his
there are a lot of, yes. There are lots of, costs associated to what they do.
You have money up to $30,000?
No, you know what?
No, I just asked you a question. You have money up to $30,000?
No. I don't have. Let me tell you what. There was someone, I won't mention his name. When the issue came, he was the first person to call me and say, I don't know you to be this. How much would it take for you to fight this case? and that person funded me. I don't want to mention his
So,
name.
so someone paid the legal fee for
Yes.
it?
Yes.
The person a Ghanaian?
Yes, he's a Ghanaian.
In Nima?
No, not in Nima.
But just a friend? A school friend?
Just somebody I know.
Is the
somebody
person in the football space?
Yes.
Is it Keto Kreku?
No. No.
Because Ket is your friend, right?
No.
Because you said you met advice, then you kept vibing.
No. That was okay. It was okay at all.
Or Abu Sondogo?
No. It was not Abu, but it was.
Abu has money.
It was one of those guys, and a lot of them like that. So it was painful for me. It was painful that somebody like that would want to do such a crooked job to try to hang you. And it was pathetic that at that time, and I would understand the legal systems in Ghana, because he had already attacked the judiciary. We heard of filming the legislature and keeping it, and all of those things. And I would understand why, for example, when this Aqua guy came, I personally reported the matter to the Nima police station through Aziz Haruna Futa. When Aqua was arrested, 4 minutes he was released. And when Honorable Kennedy Ejapon, the MP, said that the country had even mortgaged the interviewing of the IGP to Anas, I realized that we were gone.
And that's an allegation he made. You don't have that as evidence.
It has not been refuted. So far, no one.
It has not been refuted.
No one.
That we can continue to propagate that.
I can continue because it's an honorable member of parliament. He made this statement and it has not been refuted. It is serious that one human being will control who is appointed as the IGP of Ghana.
No,
we are messed.
This is not fair.
As a country,
so
do you think when you have an issue with him, you go to the police, you have justice, if he interviewed the IGP? I think that it was important that the police would have come out to deny or confirm when Honorable Kennedy Ejapon made that statement about Anas. They should have, as a matter of reality, because a lot of people have the notion that wherever you go, and we saw all the land cases he had with people, because a lot of people
now he has lost so many land cases to the extent that sometimes there's even substitute service looking for Anas. So what has changed?
What has changed because he was exposed? What has changed was because he was exposed. He felt so powerful. He had everything under control. You investigate the judiciary, you investigate the legislature, you have the police under control. Why won't you control the country again? So it was important. No. It is important up to the day today that the police should clear this thing, whether it is true that the IGP, the prospective IGPs of Ghana were interviewed by Anas. Because if indeed it is true, he had powers even more than the people we had elected to rule the country.
There was a question I asked that you juggled around it.
Which question?
Which was about whether it affected your journalism or your career.
No. It actually even I was landing on that point where when you did this thing. Number one, it gave me. Do you know why? Number one, it gave me the opportunity to say, I don't want to be part of the Ghana Football Association again. Why? Because I felt that too many people were desperate in their quest to take the Ghana Football Association. Number two.
Do you know these people?
Oh, I know. I won't say it here. A time will come. I'll write a book. Just be patient. I'll write a book. I'll keep these.
The communication that never was. Manasseh said the president we never had. This will be the communication that never was.
So let me tell you what. So that gave me the opportunity now to do things I wanted. Because at that time I didn't have.
Was there a point you considered leaving the Ghana Football Association communication role?
Before that,
yes,
there was a point I reflected on it because one, my other businesses were suffering. Number one, for example, when when Ghana Soccer Net wrote stories, even within the federation themselves, people could not even separate me from Ghana Soccer Net. They will say it's the GFA.
Then what kept you there?
What kept me there, indeed, was the fact that I felt duty bound.
People say you were there for money, Alaji. They say the FA, anytime you put travel, so you went to the World Cup, they say you got the appearance fees of $100,000.
Me? No, I wasn't part of those who...
You didn't get appearance fee?
Never. I didn't get appearance fee. Never. I only had bonuses and I don't even term it bonuses. What do you call it? Per diems. And then some of the allowances. You know what they did then that was good? Was that a lot of the management members felt that there were a lot of people working behind the scenes day and night, who contribute but are not given, and I'm part of them. I'm part of a lot of people who were working then and were not getting bonuses. They felt that we could put together some of the monies we had for it to be shared among some of us.
Yes, I remember. In fact, I was told that even RFAs all benefited.
Yes, that was what I had. I did not have any bonus.
Did you get up to $50,000?
No, absolutely not. Let me tell you something. Let me put this thing on record. That even when I was working at the GFA, there were lots of staff members of my own company who were better paid than me. I wouldn't say...
What was your salary at the FA?
I won't say, but...
You will say? But because I know the FA president was 1,800 Ghana.
But
I know he's saying...
No,
the committee member was 1,500
no, but the staff were paid a little bit
better. You were a little bit better.
Yes.
So you were earning more than the FA president?
But no.
So you were not earning more than
the FA president were not or do not earn money. They were just giving allowances.
1,800.
So our salaries, there's a difference between elected board members and staff. Staff and, their money.
I should say this, correct me if I'm wrong, if it was 1,500 series or it was more, because the information available to me was 1,800 series for the president and 1,500 series for his emergency committee.
I don't really remember all of those figures, but I was saying that a lot of the staff I had then in my own company were much more paid than me. But I wouldn't say that I did not benefit anything from the GFA. If for nothing at all, it helped me to expand my contacts. The Federation also helped me to ascend to the positions I went within CAF and within WAFU.
Okay.
So for all of those things, of course, I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for all of those opportunities. But at that time, I felt that, it's time for me to focus on my businesses and also do my CAF stuff. Number one, it is much more financially rewarding and less stressful. You can imagine that when you work as the Director of Communications of the Ghana Football Association, even before you wake up to go for dawn prayers, people are calling you. Mr. Sannie Mpacho, your best friend 6:30, your person, your do Okasa, your Blasters, Mpacho, you see league, no, Obia did league that time, who baby who. That was what your life was about. And it didn't give me the opportunity to develop the things I wanted to do. So, for example, since I left, let me put it on record, since I left the role, I've done a lot of things. A lot. I won't be here to say I've done this, I've done that. I'm not one of those people. But I've done a lot of things that has made me much better than I am today, career-wise, financially, mental stability-wise, and opportunity to also get to meet some of the people I've not met and also get to develop my businesses the more.
So did you campaign for Kurt to become GFA president?
Number one, I believe in Kurt Okreku.
Did you campaign for him to become GFA president?
Let me state it. Number one, I believe in Kurt Okreku, not just because he's been my friend since we were young, but I believe in him about his passion for the game and his desire to make things happen. I believed in him and I supported his vision.
So you support,
and I support his vision.
Did you campaign for him? Did you campaign for him?
Yes.
Did you speak to people within the football family to vote for Kurt?
Yes.
Was there a point? I don't know if I should ask this question. Actually, ask this question. Okay. I'll allow you to slide.
Let it slide.
I'll allow you to slide. I'll allow you to slide. But was there a point that, because many people actually believe that you had a very good relationship with the former vice president of the Ghana Football Association, and they actually thought that you should have been in a position to back him to become the GFA president, but you rather chose to back Keto Kreku simply because he's your friend.
Well, I have a good relationship with everyone, and I want to keep my relationship with everyone. But like it is,
you have a choice, and you made a choice.
Not only a choice, but I have a duty of more than 30 years of friendship to stand with Kurt because I know him.
So you stand with him even if Ghana football is sinking?
No, I'm saying because I know him. Because I think he can do a good job.
Has he done a good job so far?
I think he has done a good job.
How?
Why? Because you see, from where Kurt picked the federation up from, and we must remember one thing, when the normalization committee came up, when they came, you know, they tried to do their best.
They tried to bring you back to the FA, but you refused. Why?
I'm not interested. I don't want it.
Because I was meant to understand that Dr. Kofi Amor was the chairman for your marriage ceremony.
Yes, it's true.
Hey, so he wanted to bring you to the...
No, the truth is that I wanted to focus elsewhere.
So let's come back to Kurt.
Yes.
Let's come back to Kurt.
The truth is that I believe in Kurt. I know who he is. I've seen him work and everything. And for all the years I've known him, and for the relationship I have with him, the relationship that goes, in fact, if we speak about football today in Ghana, maybe the person that knows Kurt better than me, that has relationship with Kurt better than me, is Albert Comey.
Really?
Yes. Because I used to sleep in Kurt's room.
When you were in the UK or in Ghana?
No, in Ghana. Every day we spent morning, afternoon.
After you met at the Vibe
Yes, for years. For years.
So Kurt was your senior in the journalism industry?
Yes. And senior also in age. So, you know, so for years. Not only that, his daughters, first two daughters, naming ceremony, I was the man in charge. So for all of these years, I cannot, if it were you,
you're loyal to Kurt. I remember George Fuye granted an interview and said at the FA, you are the only person who is loyal to Kwesi.
Well,
yeah, that was many years ago. I recall.
The truth is that when I believe in a cause, I believe in it.
So Kurt, you took. I remember the reports that Kurt hired you as Wafubi communications director. Is that true? Are you the communication director for Wafubi?
No.
Are you the communication director?
No. I'm a consultant to them. I do work for them every now and then, but I don't have the time to do.
But you work for CAF. CAF, there you work for.
Yes,
CAF.
I work for CAF. I'm the lead content creator for CAF for its website, and also lead for the communications division's content creating team.
So you run the CAF website?
Yes.
So all the statements they read now, they come from you?
Oh, our team.
So relax.
Our team.
So the communication I get from CAF often.
It comes from our team, but there's a communication.
From the yes.
There's an acting communications director last September.
Last September, yes.
There's also Charlotte Pilaji.
Yeah.
I work on the website. Of course, when all of these things have to come, they definitely have to come through.
And you publish on the website?
Yes.
Hey!
And I can do the work here. And I can do the work anywhere in the world. That is the beauty part of it. Does anyone call me and say, Sikendie Basa? No.
Final question. Under the administration, as a journalist, I need to ask you this question. Under the administration of Keto Kreku, some journalists believe that they have been very antagonistic towards them. He said that Adamo was attacked. John Pofankra was threatened when we were in Abidjan. He told him he was going to take his time before it gets physical. Then, in fact, myself, the chief of staff of the Ghana Football Association, Michael Osekre, told me that he would come to my office and physically attack me for saying that he's a potential executive council member if Kwesi Appiah decides to step down. There are people who believe that this administration has been quite antagonistic towards the media. As a journalist yourself, does this posture suggest that this is an administration that is willing to work with the media? And is it a threat to journalism in this country, considering what you were doing yourself? In fact, I didn't ask the question of the late MND Jawula, who actually said, Sannie was so critical of my work to the extent that I went and reported him, was it to his mother or grandmother?
To my mother.
He reported you?
Yes.
Yes.
My mother's friend is Alhaji Jawulas. You know, they were one of the leading Muslim educated people in Ghana many years ago. Very, very few people were then educated. So he had a very good relationship with my mother, who led the Federation of Muslim Women's Organization in Ghana. So they had a very, very good relationship. One afternoon, I was going to pay my mother a visit. He said, yes, I'm looking for you. Your uncle says you have been attacking him on the radio. I said, who? He said, Uncle Jawula. He says, oh.
I'm doing my job.
I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job. He says, no. You must know that there's family before job.
So just touch on that question I asked. Say that the man was attacked. In fact, he was beaten blue-black. Yampo Fankra was threatened, hey, you'll take your time before it gets physical. Atapoko has complained of being attacked before, or he was threatened of attack me. Or secretary called me on the phone. Conversation lasted 1 minute 33 seconds and said, if you don't do what I'll come to your office and physically attack you. Alaji. Is this fresh to the Ghanaian media space?
Well, you see...
Is this an attack on press freedom, sports press freedom?
Well, you see, the football fraternity has a lot of people. Some of them are emotional. Some of them don't understand the work we do as journalists. So there are moments when some are worked up by what we do as journalists. Those are people who are not in our trade like you and I and Kurt or Prosper. Kurt and Prosper, mind you, are journalists.
Yeah.
So they will not be antagonistic towards you.
Sometimes they are.
Well, you know, we are human beings.
Yes.
We are human beings. So I think that, you know, since those incidents, things have improved. And I'll beg our colleagues who think that they've been, you know, subjected to, you know, unfair attacks and the rest, that they should be patient. I'm close to a lot of these people you have mentioned.
You should be begging the FA to rather behave well.
Well, you see, when you know somebody in private, you don't criticize him publicly.
So you will not criticize the FA publicly, but you rather come to the journalists and beg the journalists. No. That's not fair to
No.
That will not be fair to us.
I'm trying to be conciliatory. What am I trying to do? If you say this has been done to you, you mentioned some individuals' names, I'll go and see them and tell them that, no, we need a different approach. And they will understand me more when I explain to them than maybe us being confrontational. And I know those people you have mentioned, when I speak to them, they will listen. All of those people are my friends. So I'll speak with them and we'll see. Journalists must be free to report on the work that
at this point,
we do.
I can clearly say that, Sannie, you're now on the other side. You're no longer part of the media.
But
you are playing the role of a football politician.
No. I'm a football man.
You're a football man. And you're backing the politician instead of the profession that gave you an opportunity to rise to become a football man, Alhaji. That is clearly what you are doing now.
So am I saying I'm against the media? I'm not saying that.
You're not against the media.
Saying that.
But if the institution of which you were a part of, under your administration, at no point did we ever have a single journalist even feeling threatened. You mentioned one of my colleagues, Songo, who was on radio many times. You went through the legal route.
Yes. But I'm saying that.
Why are people now going to the, I'll come and physically attack you? Then say that the who had his neck twisted.
No.
If they are wrong, rebuke them. Instead of saying, oh, journalists, you are then these people have relations, you are going to speak to them privately. No. Go and speak to them privately.
So Muftau, do you expect me to go and fight them?
You're not going to fight them.
Exactly.
But you can let them understand that, Kurt, as someone who practiced journalism for 22 years, you understand journalism more than any of the young journalists of today.
So do you
Prosper, as general secretary, who practiced journalism for many years and was doing that with you, understands journalism, and now as a lawyer, he understands every single thing required in journalism more than young journalists of today.
Yes.
Your role should either be to guide those young journalists to grow, and not have people within you keep threatening them left, right, and center.
But
who do you want to criticize you to do the right thing?
No.
Or you want praise singers? Not all of us are praise singers.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm one.
I agree.
I'm not for Kurt. I'm not against him.
I agree.
I'm not for Prosper. I'm not against him. I'm
agree
not for Osakre. I'm not against him.
Sometimes we need a softly approach to bring people to understanding our point. That is why I'm begging you and all my colleague journalists who have suffered in one way or the other or feel threatened, that I will take this matter up upon myself to ensure that
I feel threatened, but I know that, come on, that's nothing.
No.
You can
nothing will
just call me
happen
on the phone and threaten
nothing
me.
Will happen. I think it's just, emotions at play then. I know Michael, I know his personality.
I know he's a very calm guy.
Yes,
that I know.
Sometimes
you meet him, he doesn't even want to talk.
But sometimes people, as human beings, sometimes you veer off course. So for me, as I know Michael, do you expect him to even listen to me properly if I criticize him in public, rather than going there and telling Michael, I think that the approach towards Muftau was not the right thing. I think we should find common grounds, a nice way of dealing with differences rather than going brute force fighting. People will come around. Be calm.
I'm actually very calm. Yes. I'm here to have a conversation with you.
Thank you very much.
And not to express my grievances. Ibrahim Sannie Daara, former communications director of the Ghana Football Association, CAF media expert. My guest on Prime Take. Thank you very much for your company.